we've already said goodbye. Everybody, since you gotta go, oh, you better go now. Go now, go now, go now. For you see me cry. I don't want you to tell me, solo, ooh, just what you intend to do now. How many times, ooh, do I have to tell you, darling, I'm still in love, not with you, still in love with you now. All together, ooh. Ooh, I don't want to see you go, darling, you better go now. All right, yeah. Well,
that's great, Danny. Let's talk about Paul, the times you've been with Paul McCartney, and all the great stories.
The great stories. Well, what do you want to know? I mean, the thing is with me that I've known Paul probably longer than people think. You know, we go back to when I was at a band called the Denny Laine, the Diplomats, or Spencer knows, because he comes from Wales, actually, right? Spencer comes from Wales, and I met Spencer at the Golden Eagle. Yeah. Was it in Birmingham, where he played, you know, with the Spencer Davis group, and I loved that band. It was a strip club. I don't go to strip clubs. What's the matter with you?
Yes, we did. We went to the
well, I'm not telling these people I do. So anyway, that's where I first met the Beatles, and we played a place there. And the revolving stage, we came on, did our thing. The Beatles came on, and as they came on, the speakers, somebody hadn't taken the wires out of the speakers, and they all came out, right? So they come on, and John's going. But the screams are so loud, of course, that it didn't matter. So what happened was, I first met them there. Then later, we ended up meeting in London, and Paul and I became friends because, you know, we lived in the same area. George was a real good friend later because I had a house not far from him. The Moody's had a lot of parties, basically, and everybody came to these parties, including Spencer and many others. So anyway, the long friendship came from me and Paul, and then eventually, of course, you know, he wanted somebody to work with. So I'll tell more stories later, but the crunch is that he called me after I did a gig at the Savile Theatre, Brian Epstein's theatre. I did a gig there with Jimi Hendrix, who actually said to me, I got to brag this one a little bit. Jimmy goes, hey man, this was in the club afterwards, the speakers. He goes, oh, that was great, man, because I did it with a string band and a sort of rock trio. And he says, great ideas, man. He says, and I loved your guitar player. I said, that was me. So, I mean, you know, that's a great thing coming from Jimi Hendrix. Anyway, John and Paul were in the audience that night, and about a year later, when I got back from my stint in Spain, where I ran away to get my head back together, you know, do all this sort of thing I have to do to get away from the business once in a while, he called me, and I was in Scotland the next day, and Wings was born. So there you go.